Oh, hello. Welcome to the tea cam. What's the tea? The tea is ginger. Today we're doing a ginger tea, and we're making it, and we're just out here trying to stay positive. I don't know what I'm really supposed to update you on in the tea cam, but anyway, hope you're doing well. If you want to make your own cup of tea, grab it. I'm staring at this tea, and I'm really just hoping it gives me the strength to do, frankly, anything at all. Is that too much to ask? Couldn't even fulfill the promise on its box, because it does not have a strong, spicy, hot ginger flavor. It doesn't. It's so weak. We're all struggling out here, my tea included. No, but it's not funny though. Okay, so I need to reel this in really quickly so we can start this video. It's so weak. What am I doing wrong? Like, it says on the box, hello, we are the #1 spicy ginger tea, and it's like barely there. It's like water. I always leave my tea bags in, so like you're steeping and your secrets are not coming out. Come on. Where are they? Where's the flavor? Anyway, yeah, so we're not doing well. Okay, hello, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing, I just hope you're doing. For the past few years, I have been trying to make like consistently every start of the autumnal season a cozy book recommendations video to just feel something nice. That's what I'm gonna be trying to present to you this afternoon with my weak ass ginger tea and this beautiful stack of books behind me. I have some new ones to share with you, and I just hope all of these are something of a warm hug to you in literary form. Some of these just have some of the nicest sentences I've seen in a while. Some of these just really truly are so heartwarming. They feel like a little fireplace in your hands, a little portable, cozy fireplace. And I hope you get some new book recommendations. I think I was literally wearing the same sweater in last year's video, which is exactly how it should be. You buy clothes and you should wear them over and over again. That's how it works. Let's get started. I'm so happy to be filming this, and I'm also happy to let you know that like I'm coming out of my reading slump. The reading slump is ending. I see the light at the end of the tunnel, and any of these I think would also be pretty good for a reading slump, some more than others. But the first book that I have on the top of the stack is a book that I read recently in my last episode of Read It or Yeet It, or Move It or Lose It, or Read It or Unhaul It, or Delve or Unshelve. I'm trying to like remember everyone's suggestions because they're all so good. But that is Your Letter by Hyeon A Cho. So sweet. This is so sweet. This is a manhwa or a webcomic series that's now been printed, and I just love it. And guys, it's just one volume. So if you're worried about like having to read chapters and chapters and episodes, it's just this one volume. That's it. That's all that Your Letter is. It's just this one volume, and it's just so sweet. It really truly reminds me of elements of Studio Ghibli, different Studio Ghibli films. It's very nostalgic. It's set in elementary. Is it elementary or high school or middle school? One of those schools. We follow Sori, who is moving from the school where this bullying incident happened, in which she was involved, and she's now at a new school. And unfortunately, the same thing is kind of happening all over again. She is very much the new kid. She is pretty shy, like she doesn't know anyone there. And so things just are not really looking very good for her. That is until she finds a letter taped under her desk. The letter is actually like an invitation to come along on a scavenger hunt around the school, finding like more clues and more letters. And she's like, who is writing these things? Like, how did this get here on my desk? How has no one found this? Where did this come from? Like, where am I going? Make the sun shine on a gloomy day. I really love the art style. I really love the color palette in here. I don't know if you can really. Letters eventually lead Sori to basically like meet and connect with this other guy in her grade and in her classes, who is weirdly at all of the spots where the letters or like the new clues are being found. And together they try to like piece out what is going on. Where did these letters come from? Who is writing them? Who is setting this up? Who set this whole like elaborate scheme in motion? And what did the letters actually lead to in the end? To me, it's definitely perfect for stepping into the autumn season, because it's just very like start of school, start of a new semester. Maybe a little bit heartbreaking. It has some twists and turns, and overall like I was just so thrilled and so happy that I picked this up off my shelf. Blabbed on about that one for a little bit now, but yeah, truly highly recommend this. Very much centered on small acts of kindness and just friendship, and like just looking out for each other and just doing something kind for someone when you can. So that is Your Letter, and yeah, Very, very, very cozy. This next one to me is cozy in a completely different way. The next book is The Big Sleep by Raymond Chandler. I also recently read this over the summer, and oh my goodness, very, very good time with this. Like a very good time with this. I found this incredibly addicting. I had never read Chandler before, and I was just blown away by his writing in terms of the words, okay, in terms of he's really good at crafting some beautiful sentences, maybe not the best at characterization and all that stuff, but this is also a detective series, so maybe not totally what we're looking for there anyway, but regardless, wow. So The Big Sleep, I really love this cover. I think this is just, I don't know, I'm just really enamored with it, but this is the first in Raymond Chandler's Philip Marlowe detective series. So the detective we're following is this man named Philip Marlowe, and he works in West Hollywood. The whole book is set in West Hollywood. It's the 1930s. The atmosphere, the like feeling, the time period was just like so fun. Everyone is drinking like they've never, like alcohol's just been invented. I don't know, it's just insane to me, the amount of alcohol that is being consumed, the amount of smoking that is going on, the amount of crime that is being committed, but like it's kind of like a certain type of like glitzy glam crime, if that makes sense. Like in The Big Sleep, we have, for example, an illegal smut shop. We have an illegal bookstore that just sells smut operating on like Hollywood Boulevard. We have daughters of billionaires who are going out on the town and causing all sorts of trouble. And so Philip Marlowe eventually gets called in to talk to this guy. He's this very old, rich man. He's also dying. And he's like, please, for the love of God, find out what my daughter Carmen is doing, why people are blackmailing her. What do I do about all this blackmail that is accumulating? There's so much blackmail in this book. Everyone's inboxes are full, and honestly, the storyline is like very hard to follow. You get there in the end, possibly. It's convolution, pollution. Honestly, such a pleasure to read. Like I said, just like being immersed in 1930s Hollywood was not somewhere that I thought I wanted to be, but stepping into The Big Sleep, I was so like, oh my gosh, like let's look around. I can see everything. The absolute like tone of the book is so funny to me. I just read this whole thing as satire. I'm not really sure if that's like, yeah, it's probably not intentional, but I don't care. It was so fun. I thought this was hilarious. I thought the like big, bad, like very sly, edgy, hard, gritty detective man was so fun to follow because he was just hilarious to me. I'm like, what are you doing? If I had to convince you to read this, in the first sentence, I was neat, clean, shaved, and sober, and I didn't care who knew it. I can't do a transatlantic accent, I'm sorry. I was everything the well-dressed private detective ought to be. I was calling on $4 million. Or this one. The air was thick, wet, steamy and larded with the cloying smell of tropical orchids in bloom. The glass walls and roof were heavily misted, and big drops of moisture splashed down on the plants. The light had an unreal, greenish color, like light filtered through an aquarium tank. The plants filled the place, a forest of them, with nasty, meaty leaves and stalks like the newly washed fingers of dead men. They smelled as overpowering as boiling alcohol under a blanket. The storyline, like I said, is extremely convoluted. There's a lot going on. Crime guys having crime guys upon crime guys. I don't mind your ritzing me or drinking your lunch out of a scotch bottle. I don't mind you showing me your legs. They're very swell legs, and it's a pleasure to make their acquaintance. I don't mind if you don't like my manners. They're pretty bad. I grieve over them during the long winter evenings. It just feels like theater. It feels like theater. And on top of that, it was so fun to learn so many like 1930s, early 40s, I guess, slang words. And it was, I don't know, it was just wonderful. It was just such a study of like place and like what's going on. And I thought it was so cozy. There's so much like murder mysteries I find are cozy. Like obviously The Big Sleep is not like, you know, your typical cozy murder mystery, but I just think the atmosphere was wonderful. It's very dark. It's a very dark and drab and gloomy and wet Hollywood. It's raining all of the time. The last one I'll leave you with because I just think it's very like just misty, spooky. It's obviously a little bit creepy and just so like, ooh, atmosphere. We drove away from Las Olindas through a series of little dank beach towns with shack-like houses built on the sand, close to the rumble of the surf, and larger houses built back on the slopes behind. A yellow window shone here and there, but most of the houses were dark. A smell of kelp came in off the water and lay on the fog. The tires sang on the moist concrete of the boulevard. The world was a wet emptiness. The world was a wet emptiness? A slanting gray rain, like a swung curtain of crystal beads. The similes. Give the similes to me. That is The Big Sleep, and I cannot wait to read more Raymond Chandler, to read more Philip Marlowe, because he's just so ridiculous. He's just larger than life. And now for something completely different. Better Than the Movies is my next recommendation by Lynn Painter. This, I did read it in the summer, but to me, honestly, this feels like a fall book. I think this is so cozy. It's a very film book, and I think it would just be nice to like curl up with in the evenings and also like watch all the films that it mentions, because Better Than the Movies is a YA rom-com that pays homage to so many different rom-coms, and I've seen like maybe 2 of them in here, so I have a lot to just catch up on and see what the heck they're talking about. I honestly was just so impressed with this, and I had such a good time, and I had the stupidest smile on my face when I was reading this, and it's just so good. And this copy, the flip, the flop, a bop. We follow Liz, who is in her senior year of high school. She's having a rough time of it because her mother has passed away a little bit recently, and so she's going through all the motions of her senior year, like all those milestones, like, I don't know, prom dress shopping, photos, graduation, preparing to move to go to college, and her mom's not there, so she's grieving. She's having a really hard time. She's also having a hard time because like her father has a new, I guess, yeah, she kind of has like a new stepmother, we'll say. Also, she is in this fearsome competition rivalry between her and her next door neighbor, Wes, or like I think he lives across the street. Does he live across the street? Anyway, they're neighbors, very close neighbors. And they have been kind of just fighting and bickering since they grew out of childhood, even though of course they grew up together, they were childhood friends. Now they go to the same high school and they just don't like each other very much, like they're not in the same circles. Liz is quite nerdy and peculiar, and she's really extremely attached to her mom's collection of DVDs of all the romantic comedies. So they kind of hit on all those notes of the rom-coms, if that's your thing. Every chapter starts with a quote from a rom-com. The main storyline is she is just like enamored with this boy who's back in town, who she also knew from childhood, and she's like, he's the one. My mom knew him. I want to be like his Mrs. Right, essentially. And so she enlists the help of Wes, her neighbor, to get his attention because they're not really in the same social circles, if that makes sense. Liz and Wes, I just fell like in love with them. I think when you are crafting a piece like this, it can be really easy to make it very like performative, or like it's very easy for it to feel as performative as the rom-coms that it's trying to reference and that it's trying to draw upon. But I just really felt the whole time like Liz and Wes were so just like real high schoolers. A lot of times when I read YA, I'm like, I do not see the young adults in the young adults, but I just really felt like they were down to earth, real people going through very real things. I just really liked their relationship. I just thought this whole thing was so cute, so well done, and I just finished it. I flew through it so quickly, and for me it was just so cozy, so nice, very nostalgic. That is Better Than the Movies. It was indeed better than the movies. Then I have 2 books by the same author. I don't know if I mentioned this last year. I don't think I did, and I'm really shocked that I didn't, because that lady is Maggie Stiefvater, and the Raven voice. The Raven voice. I say this every time, but I read this because of you guys, so thank you so much. I really had a fantastic time with this. Maggie Stiefvater has been an author that's been in my life for a long time. The other recommendation I want to give at the same time is Shiver. This one to me, I don't know which one is cozier. This one's definitely more like wintry coziness, and this one is very like fall, dark, spooky, spirits, clairvoyance, that kind of atmosphere. But Shiver is just like a very nostalgic book to me, because there's a note in here. I got this for Christmas in 2010. I think this was kind of one of the series that a lot of us were turning to once we had finished reading Twilight and didn't know what else to read, because Shiver is I guess like paranormal romance. It's about werewolves, but I just thought it was just like, I honestly thought it was pretty good. I recently reread it a couple winters ago, and I was like, yeah, honestly, this stands up to me. I really like it. I'm extremely biased though, because like it's part of my like elementary growing up reading, and I just really love it. I have a really soft spot in my heart for it. I think it's set in Minnesota. We follow Grace, who has always been obsessed with like the wolves in her community, and the townspeople have always been quite weary of them. And then we have Sam, who's lived 2 lives. As a wolf, he keeps the silent company of the girl he loves, and then for a short time each year, he is human. This is the book that introduced me to Rilke. This man writes out scraps of Rilke and leaves them in her locker. I'm incredibly grateful that he decided to leave scraps of Rilke in her locker, because that's how I found like my fave poet. I think probably objectively The Raven Boys is the better crafted novel. They're both series. The Shiver series I think is a trilogy. I think I completed it. I did complete it, unless she made spin-offs, I don't know. And The Raven Boys has 4 books in it. So I think this fall it is happening. I have finally carved out, I'm pretty sure, time to read the series and like vlog it all, because I just loved it. I was so impressed with The Raven Boys. I think this was really, truly well done, and this is like, yeah, the better book if you would read one of them, or like depending on what you're more interested in. The Raven Boys is a lot about Welsh mythology, and we follow Blue. She comes from a family of clairvoyants, and she gets involved with the Raven Boys, who go to this very uppity private school, boarding school, I think, and together they try to solve like what is going on in their town. Where is this set? Vermont? Aren't they always in Vermont? She's been a consistent author in my life since elementary school, and she just came out with a new book this year that I'm also really excited to read, called The Listeners, so thank you, Maggie. The next one is just a short recommendation, because I feel like this is just like the quintessential cozy. It's kind of been taken over as like cottagecore aesthetic, I guess, but I think this is also a really excellent book, really sweet. It's The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Grahame. This is just really nice when you are looking for maybe honestly a little bit of a palate cleanser, but also something that's quite slow, just like nice and slow and easy and breezy, like you're winding down a little lazy river. I think The Wind in the Willows is the one. If I can make every single person on this continent right now stop what they're doing and read The Wind in the Willows, that's, yeah, sit the hell down, okay? Toad and Mole and Ratty are gonna set you straight. So this follows a bunch of riverside animals. We have badgers and moles and toads. They just like get up to business. If you're a fan of The Hobbit and like Shire living and being in the Shire, description in here, the nature description is just gorgeous. It's so wonderful. It's just like my ideal life. You have one character who's out of his mind and is like addicted to Grand Theft Auto. A small island lay anchored, fringed close with willow and silver birch and alder. Reserved, shy, but full of significance, it hid whatever it might hold behind a veil, keeping it till the hour should come, and with the hour, those who were called and chosen. This is the place of my song dream, the place the music played to me, whispered the rat. I have one like cozy kind of sci-fi recommendation, and that is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I read this years ago, and I liked it. It wasn't like a new favorite or anything like that. This follows this young woman who joins this like really beaten down, weathered ship. It's not the Millennium Falcon, okay? I wish it was. It's called the Wayfarer. So she joins the crew. The crew is made up of so many different people, so many different species. They're going across the galaxy, and eventually they get this job to like basically patch like wormholes through the galaxy to connect different places together. It's a very dangerous job, but very like lucrative. It's fun, like it's very exploratory. We go to a lot of different planets, we meet so many different people. There's a lot of tea and food involved, if I'm remembering that correctly, and it just feels nice. Like, yeah, it's like high stakes, there's a lot going on, there's a lot to learn and see, but it just feels very like quiet and like nice, wholesome, a lot of very like sincere, touching moments between characters, a lot of character development, very character focused, a lot about relationships and friendships, and it's just really nice. I would recommend this one if you're looking for some like sci-fi like that. The one that I'm actually more interested in, and that a lot of you guys have recommended to me, is, oh no, what's it called? I think it's called A Psalm for the Wild Built. That one I really want to read. I saw it in a bookstore over the summer. I didn't buy it, and now I honestly kind of regret it, because that one sounds really wonderful. I think it's about this tea house run by robots, and I think the robots are monks. I think that's what someone told me. And that sounds really good. It sounds really good. I'm pretty sure it's set far in the future. I don't know if it's like giving kind of solar punk vibes or like that kind of content, but that's really kind of what it sounds like. Really reminded me of the society of robots that are in the game Stray, which is also a wonderful, like cozy, again, like kind of sci-fi dystopian game that I would recommend, but that's what kind of the synopsis of A Psalm for the Wild Built reminded me of, are the robots in Stray, who I just love, and that's like exactly what I'm picturing when I think of the tea-serving monk robots. But yeah, I would really like to pick up A Song for the Wild Bill. This is also a series. I've only so far read the first one, so let me know when I should keep going, if I should keep going. And then the next two books that I want to recommend to you, I haven't read, but I will be reading. Actually, one I'm about to start, and the other I will be starting really, really soon. This is also a good reminder if you're with the Game of Tomes book club that well, I guess it's almost coming to a close now. We only have really September left. I will be starting this in September. But yeah, our read for July, August, and September is coming to a close, and then we'll be reading our last tome, big tome of the year for October, November, and December. The book that I'm about to start, I'll be starting this so soon. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I just want to read a fantasy textbook. So badly. It's The Silmarillion by Tolkien. Read the entirety of The Lord of the Rings a few years ago for Game of Tomes. Loved it. I think everyone loved it. It was my first time reading through the whole thing, and it was just so great. One of my favorite reading experiences I think I've ever had, and I think everyone really wanted to read The Silmarillion. We saw so many people recommending it and being like, hey, can we read this? It's obviously also a little bit of a chunker, so this year we are going to be reading The Silmarillion. I know a lot of you have already started it. I'm so happy that the reading slump has come to an end, because like knowing that I'm going to be diving into this soon. This is, how do I describe this? I don't know. An account of the Elder Days, or the First Age of Tolkien's world. It is the ancient drama to which the characters in The Lord of the Rings look back, and in whose events some of them, such as Elrond and Galadriel, took part. The tales of the Silmarillion are set in an age when Morgoth, the first Dark Lord, dwelt in Middle-earth, and the High Elves made war upon him for the recovery of the Silmarils, which are jewels. I've never really delved into the Silmarillion. I've kept it pretty distant. I would just kind of like to go into this and see for myself kind of what it is, what it's all about. I mean, take some notes, underline things, treat it like a, I don't know, university course in Lord of the Rings or something like that. See, I'm flipping through this now, and I'm kind of like, this feels more like, it looks more like a novel, but I think I was expecting something more like the appendices. This is very cozy to me. Of course, Lord of the Rings I could also put on this list. Just so incredibly cozy and heartwarming and so nice. There's some fantasy, especially a lot of like older fantasy, that is just so like, so nice. Like the description and the food, and I just love when there are a bajillion details given. So that's what I'm hoping to get from this, is just like so many details, so many questions answered. Who is Tom Bombadil? Who the hell is Tom Bombadil? Is this gonna tell me? I need to know the identity of Mr. Bombadil. I just saw like songs and poetry. So that is The Silmarillion. If you want to join along, we will be reading this until the end of September. Still have a while to go, depending on when I actually get this video out. This one is also very appropriate because it is Babel by R.F. Kuang. This is the book we'll be finishing the year off with for the last 3 months. I am very much looking forward to starting a dark academia when I will be entering back into academia myself around the same time. So yeah, really looking forward to this. This is another author I've never read from before. I have the Poppy War on my shelf, but I've never gotten around to it. And yeah, so Babel is set, Babel. Sorry, I think it's Babel. Babel is set in Oxford when, I think it's the Victorian, 1828. And we follow Robin, who has been, just read the first like sentence of the synopsis. An act of translation is always an act of betrayal. Robin Swift from Canton is brought to London by the mysterious Professor Lovell. Trains for years in Latin, Ancient Greek, and Chinese, all in preparation for the day he'll enroll in Oxford University's Institution of Translation, also known as Babel. I've heard really good things, really not good things about this book and about her writing, I think in particular is what I'm remembering. So I'm just gonna like go into it and hopefully have a really good time. That is Babel. Really looking forward to this, and just like reading it, getting back into it. I'm like I haven't had the, yearning to read dark academia or campus novels, university novels in a long time, but I think being back in that atmosphere, I'm like, let's go, let's do it. I'm so excited, I'm so ready. I want like inspiration and motivation and like that atmosphere. And the last, I think I have 2 more books to recommend to you. These ones I haven't read, but these are books that I would be picking up right now if I had the time to be reading some cozy literature of my own, or at least a little bit more time. And maybe I will, and especially if I can find them on audio. Anyway, first one is Hotel Silence. This is the hotel book for me that I think I would pick up if I wanted something cozy and hopefully heartwarming. This is by Eva Olafsdottir. I got this in Iceland. We follow this man who feels like his life is over. His wife has left him, his mother's slipping deeper into dementia, and his daughter, who is she? So he goes abroad and he starts to stay at this Hotel Silence. He finds himself like fixing it up. It's very run down. He finds himself connecting with the guests of the hotel, and just a book about this guy moving to a hotel, living in a hotel, staying there for longer than expected, and fixing it up. Like, that is just like my jam. That is really my jam. It looks nice, it looks heartwarming, it looks like a group of people coming and going, getting to know each other. Last one I have, this one I have had on my shelves for far too long. This is White is for Witching by Helen Oyeyemi, and I mean, this cover is really cool. This is set in Devon, and we follow a family who may or may not have some magic, may or may not be composed of some witches and witchery. Follows the generations of silver women, and I believe their ability to either talk with the dead or like converse with the dead. Their house has now been converted into a bed and breakfast. I don't know, you guys know I love like inns and hotels and bed and breakfast. I see a cormorant. I'm so sad that the cormorants are going to be gone soon. Like, it really truly is heartbreaking to me. Every year when they leave, I want to cry. I really love the cormorants. So we have Miranda, who is the daughter of the current, I guess, matriarch of the family, and when her mother dies, all of this really weird stuff starts happening to her. Like, she develops this eating disorder that I think is just like horrifying from what I remember reading about this. She hears voices, stuff is happening to her, and when she brings a friend to Dover House, or like their house, the bed and breakfast, the house like starts attacking her or doing malignant things to her. So it is very much like haunted house story, but also a meditation on a lot of stuff, as well as race, I believe. Nationality, race, family legacies. Yeah, if you've been missing Shirley Jackson all these years. Okay, guys, so I think those are all my cozy recommendations for you this year. I love this stack because it's very nicely color coordinated this time around, but yeah, highly recommend all of these, and then hopefully I'm really gonna enjoy. Oh, I'm so excited to start Silmarillion. I am really looking forward to starting the Raven Boys vlog. What I'm gonna do, I think, is like start over, reread the Raven Boys, because has it been a year, and then keep going with the rest of the series. So, and I will also be doing a whole Silmarillion vlog as well, vlogging the whole thing. So I'm very excited to like, you know, very book focused vlogs coming your way, and then I think the next video down the pipeline, hopefully very soon, will be a long vlog. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. I hope your tea was more delicioso than mine. Please take care of yourselves and have a good day, evening, morning, night, lunchtime, 11z, second breakfast. Ciao.